Oh, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. It's going to be a juicy OBS video. So if you guys are really excited about a ton of stuff that I've got in store for you guys today, sit back and enjoy. So there's a bunch of things to start with, but we're going to start right here. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got axles, and they're not just any axles. We're talking 05 Plus Super Duty axles right here behind me. Dana 60 full assembly up front with 373 final drive, and then we've got the Dana 80 right here. They're not that pretty though. I found them through a connection on Instagram. We really needed these axles to continue momentum on the build. We're working on fabricating the crossmember as we speak. That's going to be a Duramax style, and we'll show you guys that here in a minute. But what we needed were these axles to ensure that the crossmember, aka that thing right there, that is going to be in the OBS, is actually going to clear that pumpkin right there. You guys can see on this entire front assembly, the crossmember offers enough room for this to travel up into here. We didn't want to make any assumptions in fabricating our crossmember and then run into issues where this hits what we are making. As I look closer and closer at these, I realize that they are really not in the best shape ever. I'd say that they can probably get blasted and powder coated, but maybe we'll just end up finding new axles. Irregardless, we needed these to make sure that things would actually work, so we didn't end up causing ourselves way more work down the line. All right, guys, so what we need to do is actually get to work on trying to get this axle removed. Drag link's got to come off, traction bar's got to come off, tie rod's got to get disconnected, the whole 9 yards, so that way we can get this thing over to this beauty right here. I have missed this truck so unbelievably much, guys, you have no idea, and there's been so much that's changed since the last upload on this. 15 times extras are back for the final days of our Air Ride Platinum giveaway that comes with $30,000 cash. And the clock will not stop until the giveaway is completely over May 19th. Tap that link and grab some entries because you might be jumping in this truck now. Hunter's been absolutely crushing. He's been sending me some updates, some awesome teasers, and here's where we're at. There's been some cutting and there's been some weight reduction that's occurred. We've actually got crossmember removed from the two-wheel drive truck, and now, oh dude, I'm seeing some metal up in here, brother.
Roughly fit.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That is sick. Guys, Duramax in an OBS, are you kidding me? This combination is awesome, and it's changed a lot. Dude, you wanna bring people up to speed real quick? You want me to do it?
Yeah.
It's there, yeah. We both may or may not have stayed up really late last night. We may or may not have also drank a little bit too much alcohol. But we're okay, everything's fine.
So, cut the whole crossmember out, and then I sat everything in there. I mean, I have it level. I put the motor on a 5-degree pitch. That's what Jake's was.
Yep.
Put the new motor mounts we got, bolted them on.
They're pretty smexy.
And first made a template out of cardboard.
Look at that. Look at that.
Front and back. And then made a rough template out of aluminum. Give it the column.
And you just got that back the other day.
Oh, yeah. So 3/8 might be a little overkill, but I'd rather have it overkill than underkill.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff to go over, but the core idea here is we wanted to maintain the factory driveline angle of 5 degrees, and we also wanted to have all the creature comforts of the OBS, because at the end of the day, I want to set this truck up so I can drive it like it is a new truck, just surrounded by an old, sexy OBS body, and with the Duramax making some really beautiful sounds. So, with that being said, I didn't want to remove any of the creature comforts, including air conditioning. And unlike in new trucks, where everything's up inside the cab under the dashboard, in these old trucks, it's actually all on the exterior. So we've got our full air conditioning system here, and initially upon reviewing this project, we were a little worried that that wouldn't work and that would have to come out, but fortunately that man persisted through, and he actually made an adjustment to move the motor just a little bit over to the right from where the factory Ford engine sat, and we can maintain air conditioning. That is going to be great. All right, here we go.
try to keep the heat off this. I mean, for this, it doesn't matter. Like, if you torch something important, you don't want that getting hot.
Yeah.
Because it'll melt that too. But if you do it fast enough, and then if you see it start to get red, then you hit this, give it oxygen.
Okay. Donor axle is ready to rock and roll. We've actually got some native 6.4 wheels for it too, just because, you know, it's kind of fitting. Radius arms stay on. We've got our sway bar removed. We are waiting for some bracketry from CP Addicts that's going to help us do this complete conversion. In this instance though, we actually just have to work on getting the whole front assembly removed, and then we need to get this one up underneath so we can then make sure that our cross member is not going to hit on any of that good stuff right there. So yes, we're taking this truck from a gasser 2-wheel drive, making it a Duramax diesel, and making it 4-wheel drive. It's gonna be awesome. So we've got some bracing up front here. We were trying to think through our best way to not have to move this setup. It's mocked up perfectly right now. We've got a jack stand underneath the engine supporting it, and then the trans jack is supporting that, and they are assembled together right now, the trans and the motor. So what we're gonna try to do is get this whole front assembly out, coil springs out, sway bar removed. We're gonna disconnect the pimp min arm and the drag link. We're gonna remove the 2-wheel drive radius arms, which are tucked up underneath, and then we're gonna try to actually finesse that whole assembly without tires through one side, so that way we don't have to move any of these, which would move all of this. Alright guys, so we got an update for you. We got Logan back in the vlog, we got Hunter back on the vlog. These are the Dutchland muscle. They had to come out and help us muscle under our semi-rusted axle, but they play a perfect part in the role of getting this cross member fabbed up. We basically need to make sure that there's enough clearance when we build this out for thicker reinforcement to make it stronger. So it's gonna come essentially down to the other channel of the frame and across, and then back up. We just wanted to make sure that the pumpkin had adequate clearance. And if this is in fact the design approach that we want to take, the goal is to get the motor mounts to essentially sit and fasten right to it, just like the factory Duramax does in the GM platforms. The good news is we were able to get the axle across this span here. That was a little challenging, but fortunately some C-channel was the solution. Got this thing in here, roughed it in, and now we take some further measurements to see if this is the direction that we're gonna go. You can see it's quite a process. It starts on cardboard, multiple pieces, getting all the dimensions, the cuts, the angles, and everything like that. Then it gets transferred over to sheet metal, and then this sheet metal was the template that was then used to cut out the 5/16 stock, and then bend it all into what it is there. It's pretty exciting, guys. This is getting a lot more real every single day, and it's big thanks to this man right here and these guys for all their help. There's a lot of muscling and moving of things around, a lot of cutting, a lot of thinking, a lot of back and forth discussion to see if in fact ideas will actually be viable. And you can see it's starting to take place. Now, if you guys caught one of the first uploads, it's when we were actually taking apart the truck. We had to pull out the cross member for the radiator. And on the 7.3 Power Strokes, they're actually different than the gassers. There's a thicker rad support that comes in the Power Strokes, so we ended up sourcing one of those. We've got that right here. We've got a Banks intercooler system, as a matter of fact. I wasn't able to find just the intercooler itself, but we went with a 7.3 intercooler, and that's a radius arm.
Words. So there's that going in the truck?
Words. We also got another package in from our friends over at Hicksville Duramax. So we decided to change course and go with a manual style transfer case with a manual shifter versus that of the electronic, which we have over there. Initially, my ambition, I wanted to get the electronic four-wheel drive switch into the truck, figure out a way to kind of customize it to fit into the stock dashboard cluster and then use one. But from a harness perspective, we had learned that that's actually quite complicated. And I really didn't want to add any additional complications to what already is kind of a semi-complicated project. So we just went with a standard transfer case right there. Massive shout out again to Hicksville Duramax for being so helpful and so supportive in this project. There's been a lot of back and forth between us just to make sure that we have everything that we need to actually fire this thing up when the time comes, and it looks like we're tracking towards target.